relationship. It's really not. Apparently the milkweed is just like evolving over time to try and be even more poisonous, so the monarch stops eating it, but then the monarch just keeps evolving too. So interesting stuff. But we're sitting at the farmer's market busking most weekends and giving away milkweed seeds. So that's the story of our band. But this next song is the first one that her and I wrote together. And now we have like a mandolinist and male singer who just adds so much to the band. But this song is called Fat Happy Mushroom, and we sat in her backyard and wrote it, and it's just a sweet little, kind of a lullaby. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Christian, for inviting me to come play and be part of this. It's so lovely just sharing space with people who care as deeply as I do, and I just appreciate each and every one of you. And with all that being said, I'm going to give it back over to Christian, so please give it up for Christian.
I can make that go up. Thank you. Thank you again, Katie. It warms my heart to see all of you out there today. It's been 3 years since we've done this event in person, so it's great to be getting back to doing things together in person. We are social creatures, right? We need each other, and there's never a bad day at the beach, right? Look at that. This beautiful place that we all care about and are here to make our stand on protecting. So a quick history of Hands Across the Sand. This event was started in 2009 over in the Seaside, South Walton area, a couple hours to the east of us, by a restaurateur there who owns a Gulf Front restaurant named Bud Nally's. His name is Dave Roshkob. And in 2009, if you can imagine this now, the Florida legislature was actually looking at opening up our state waters, which on this side go out 9 miles. They were actually looking at opening our state waters up to offshore drilling for oil and gas. Less than a year later, in 2010, the BP disaster hit, and that eliminated, thankfully, that was one silver lining from that, was that it eliminated any chance of any elected officials really in Florida being supportive of drilling off our shores anymore, and really helped to shift that. And so now it's actually in our state constitution, thanks to all of you who voted in 2018. There will never be drilling in state waters in Florida, right? Right now, the challenge we face is that beyond 9 miles, that's federal waters, and that's really controlled by Congress and to a lesser degree by the president. And we've been protected since 2006 by a moratorium enacted by Congress, so the House and the Senate together had to pass that. And it always seemed like for years and years and years that moratorium has been in effect, and it always seemed like the expiration date was so far off in the future, I just didn't think much about it. But guess what? That expiration is now upon us. It ends, the moratorium that protects us out here ends on June 30. So just a month and a half away, and then we really don't have, we're not protected anymore by Congress. Now the president has said, President Biden has pledged not to drill right away. President Trump prior to him pledged or passed a executive order, which is really not quite binding the way a congressional action is. So where we are right now is the House of Representatives has passed that permanent moratorium as part of the Build Back Better Act. The Build Back Better Act failed in the U.S. Senate. It is not advanced. They're trying to pull out pieces of that legislation and try to pass them individually, including a moratorium in the Gulf of Mexico here in the Eastern Gulf, that permanent moratorium that we want to see. So far, our Florida U.S. Senators, Rubio and Scott, have not supported that permanent moratorium. They've been supporting a 10-year moratorium. So we need to keep working on them. We do have a sheet up here on the table where Healthy Gulf will send an email to our state, or excuse me, federal elected officials on your behalf, supporting that permanent moratorium if you want to do that. I have a fine piece of work that was done here. I had the great experience this spring of working with Sam Muma, who's just graduated from UWF. There she is out there. She's here today. Yeah. She's an amazing graphic design student, now graduate, not student, and she did an amazing series of pieces for us around our climate campaign, which actually we ended up calling Climate Together Pensacola, where a number of groups in town came together on various issues, including the drilling issue. So this one actually has the little handy QR code on there, so you can just zap it with your phone and get it. But these are both up on the table here, and as Katie mentioned, we've got some water up here as well, so nobody be thirsty. So I want to add in some other voices because that's how we do it. We have amazing people in this community that are fighting these battles and doing this work every day from so many different angles. And I want to invite Rodney Jones to come up first. Rodney, yep. Rodney's an amazing guy. He's got an amazing story. Maybe he'll share a tidbit of that real quick with you. But he was the director of the local chapter of the NAACP, and right now he is the director of the of Movement for Change, which a social justice organization here in Pensacola. I really remember them because they were so effective in the early 2000s. They made the campaign to name what was then Alkany Street Martin Luther King Boulevard, and they did yard signs in people's yards and went door to door, and they did this amazing campaign. So Rodney's here with us today. So Rodney, take it away now.
Thank you. Hey, thank you, Christian. Hey, I just want to say I'm glad to be here, and not just because Christian invited me either. So I'm glad to be here because it's an issue that affects all of us. I'm here because I grew up in a community, low-income community, and found that in those low-income communities, we are suffering from a lot of the atrocities that these big companies perpetuate. And we allow our governmental officials to get into bed with them and not do anything about the issues that persist in our low-income communities. Ladies and gentlemen, we have in the community that I grew up in, we have 3 junkyards. Just to the north of that, we have several landfills. None of them really maintained well. All of them are seeping chemicals and toxins into the soils that are getting into our groundwater. Now you wonder why many people from these low-income communities act erratic or have this erratic behavior. They're shooting each other or robbing and stealing. You wonder why these things are happening when we have so many of these organizations and these entities that come into our community and contaminate the very water that we drink. It affects us psychologically. Would you think? I mean, we're drinking toxins and chemicals. So I would think it probably affects us psychologically. So we commit some of these heinous crimes that you hear about or read about or see on your television. It's an issue that affects us all, not just in the poor black communities. It affects us everywhere, even out here at these beautiful beaches that we love to enjoy. Just 100 miles out, you might find these big oil barons pillaging our oceans and our sea floors and our Gulf, pulling their equipment out and disrupting ecosystems. Now, it's all right for those who don't make their living from the sea. It's all right if you don't eat those fish and all of the seafood that comes from the sea. It's all right for you guys, I guess, huh? It's okay that they continue to do that. We allow these big companies to come in and pillage our earth and leave behind destruction that you can't even imagine, left for our kids to enjoy. Our seniors, our fathers and our mothers and our grandparents can't even enjoy the rest of their lives because we've allowed these fossil fuel barons to come into our communities and come into our country and dig and pillage and leave destruction behind, and now they suffer from all types of sickness and diseases. Can't even enjoy the remainder of their lives after they've put in all this work trying to raise us. And then our children are coming right behind them. What can we expect their life to be if we just stop caring? I know I'm preaching to the choir, though, because I know many of you who are here, who are listening, who have been a part of what Christian and 350 and all of these other organizations have been doing. I know you really care and you understand. So what is it that you can do? You can join his organization and you can get information. You can join our organization, Movement for Change, a social justice organization. We care about what happens to everybody, not just some of the people, some of the time. And we have to start holding people accountable. Don't just join the organizations, but be prepared to hold people accountable, especially those people whom we elected to speak for us. We have to do it. If we do not do it, we do our planet a disservice. I heard a man once say, to whom much is given, much is required. Hey, my name is Rodney Jones. I'm with Movement for Change. Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you. Powerful message. We all know how much especially communities of color have suffered disproportionately, and we've been very lucky in Florida because, as you know, when you look out across the Gulf of Mexico, there's 5 U.S. states. This is the only one that hasn't industrialized its coast with oil and gas drilling. So Rodney talked about holding those elected officials accountable. Hey, we've got one of them here. Let's invite him up. Robert Bender is our commissioner, Escambia County Commissioner, District 4, represents Pensacola Beach here, and we're really lucky to have him here, so thank you.
Thank you, Christian. Thank you all for being here. A couple things. Right now we've got red flags flying, and we can't go in the Gulf because of the conditions of the rip currents. But we all know what it was like 12 years ago when we couldn't go out in the Gulf. And we don't want to see that happen again. We have great work. Like Emerson, who's been working with us with the estuary program. Thank you, Emerson. I know you're leaving us soon, but so we've stood up the Pensacola Perdido Bay Estuary program that's working through our estuaries and our bays. We've got great work going on out here. We have Captain Turbin is with Escambia County, and Just heard that we had our second turtle nest, was I think today or yesterday, on Pensacola Beach. And so that's a great advertisement for us. It's great to see how these sea turtles come on shore and remind people why we have a leave no trace ordinance and why all of this is important to us. But the other great thing is that we can all turn around and look out at the Gulf of Mexico and not see anything obstructing that view, which can't be said for those other 5 states, or the other 4 states. And so it's really important. I'm glad that I've been able to get our board to support a moratorium of drilling in the Eastern Gulf. It's been continued our stance because we know how important it is to the workforce here, not just the tourism industry, but those that make their lives in fishing. You think about Joe Patties and what they do and what that brings and the iconic space that is. And there's just so many people that rely on what we can provide with clean, healthy Gulf of Mexico, Pensacola Bay. So I'm happy to be here today, support all these organizations and continue to support a permanent moratorium on drilling in the Eastern Gulf. And I hope you all do the same. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Commissioner Bender. Yeah, when I called last fall and said, let's see if we can get an update to that county position on drilling and the permanent moratorium, I mean, he got it done within days and the county had passed it, so we're really thankful. Commissioner Bender, we've got a friend there. I want to invite our next speaker up, Jay Mcgee. Come on up, Jay. Jay is a recent biology graduate from the University of West Florida. I've had a great experience working with him the past couple of years on clean energy issues on campus and within our community. As you all know, this is a two-pronged message here today. It's no to drilling, it's no to dirty energy, but it's yes to clean energy. That is our future. That future is here. We need to make it happen as fast as possible and not let, like Rodney talks about, the fossil fuel barons and the others, to slow that down, to sow disinformation, and to divide us, because everybody wants clean air, everybody wants clean water, and we want action on climate change. And Jay has been on the front of that on the University of West Florida campus. So come on up, Jay.
Hey guys, thank you for having me. So I am a recent UWF grad, and I was also part of the campaign that Christian mentioned, the 100% Renewable Campus campaign. And I've been on that campaign for 2 years, and we had done some amazing work in bringing clean energy to campus and making strides for that. And so we had passed our student resolution in May or March of 2021. And so that has been longstanding to this day. And so now that I'm leaving UWF, it's kind of sad that I won't be a part of it as much as I should be. But we're going to continue the work and continue the fight on campus. We have a great team of people who will be leading the fight to basically create a sustainable campus and a sustainable Pensacola. But I also wanted to talk about civic duties and our actions that we need to take as people. Christian was really the first person to tell me that my voice was instrumental in anything that I do here in Pensacola. I was a very shy, timid person, thought that I would never be accepted here in Pensacola. And I think that Christian was the first person to open me up and say that, hey, your voice is needed and needs to be heard. And I want to express that to y'all today, that you have a voice. And you have a mind and is capable of doing so many things, and you could put so many things on paper, and you could speak to so many people. And we have the opportunity here to talk to people. You can go into City Hall and talk. You can go to forums and talk. There are a lot of places where you can't do that. And I think that we need to start doing that, as you know, we can see that the moratorium may be ending at the end of July. And so we need to talk about these things, bring together people to talk about what we can do to, you know, keep these waters clean, keep the view clean. And so I just want to express to y'all that, you know, it's a good opportunity to speak here, and that I'm just one person. But I think that if we all kind of band together and go forward with this message and go forward with not only clean energy, but just being more civilized and going forward with a more clean society in general, I think that we can make huge strides, not only in this community, but also across the state, across the nation. And I think that we can really do some great work. So thank you all.
Thank you so much, Jay. He's been just such a blessing in our community, speaking at City Hall, speaking to UWF President Martha Saunders, everywhere, and it's really been effective. And by the way, we have another piece of work from Sam on that as well with the QR code that sends a message to UWF President Martha Saunders asking her to act on what the students have already said they want, which is they want the campus to transition to 100% renewable energy. So we have those up on the table here as well. But Jay, I hope you'll stay in our community selfishly, right? I hope we'll keep you, but you're going to do great things wherever you go. And if you leave, we'll miss you. But thanks for all that you've done. So with that, we're getting toward being able to walk down to the water's edge, and we've got one more wonderful speaker, and that's Rainey Richards. I'm going to invite Rainey to come up. Now, Rainey is a young climate advocate in our community. Yeah. She's a student at Creative Learning Academy, and she's come down and spoken at Pensacola City Hall, spoken to the city council members a couple of times with a message about climate change and our future, because, you know, her generation has so much at stake, and it's really becoming more and more. The climate movement is becoming a young people's movement. A lot of young people inspired by Greta Thunberg, the young Swedish student, and obviously with the young people aware that they have so much at stake in their lives with so many years to live. So we're going to pivot this down for you, Rainey. How's that?
Maybe a little lower.
If you want to say anything about yourself, you can do that too.
Okay. My name is Rainey Richards. I go to CLA, as he said. And I'm inspired by Greta Thunberg. I think that she's a very important person in this, act towards, stopping climate change. And, with that, I'm going to just read this. Act as if what you do makes a difference. It does. William James, American philosopher, historian, and psychologist. Hi, my name is Rainey Richards. The U.S. has set a goal of net zero greenhouse gas emissions by no later than 2050. Today, I am 10 years old. If the government meets the renewable energy goals by 2050, I will be 38 years old. If we keep living like we are today, that won't matter because the climate will already be destroyed. It's not right that decisions are being made for future generations that we cannot control. If we don't take action now, the people of the future won't have clean air to breathe or a clean ocean to swim in. Florida has been warned for years by top scientists around the world, yet our state's plan to address climate change only contains a plan to spend money to adapt to rising sea levels and nothing about cutting the emissions that cause it. Florida has even passed bills against those goals. We have to make a choice to act now to ensure a good future for our Earth and kids like me. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Rainey. I hope you'll keep coming back next year, maybe, in the city hall, and your voice really makes a difference. I've watched over the years how, when I go to city council and speak, and they listen to me, they give me my due, but when young people get up and speak, it really moves the council members, because how can you not, want to welcome young people into public life? And it's great to have young people that are willing to come down and speak at City Hall, and Rainey has really made a difference. So thank you again, Rainey. So with that, it's going to be time to move down to the water's edge, and I wanted to just make a few announcements and just a few instructions about that. Again, this event is Hands Across the Sand. We've been doing this every year here for over a decade. We will walk straight out to the water's edge there and then go right to the west down to the fishing pier and get set up there and get situated and hold hands there for 15 minutes in silence. It's really a silent thing as we really kind of hold hands and hold that line really against drilling off of our coast. But it's an opportunity as we walk down. We'll bring a few of these signs with us and we can set these in the sand as we stand there. But it's an opportunity to talk to people along the way and encourage them to come in and join us, explain to them what we're doing. And they can read the signs as well. If anybody is not being nice, we just don't need to be part of that, right? I mean, we're here at the beach. We're here to have a good time. So just ignore that and dismiss that. But, the reality is this community really is very strongly supportive of what we're here to talk about. The county commission has taken this position, and citizens are overwhelmingly against offshore drilling. So we don't want to let anybody ruin our day down there by trying to engage us that way. So with that, we're going to go ahead and walk on down to the water's edge. Okay. So if there's anything you don't want to bring with you, Johnny is staying here at the table if you want to leave it with Johnny, and it'll be secure. And that way you don't have to haul it down, okay? Thanks, everybody. Let's start moving toward the water.